Oh, that's better. Great. Good morning to you. I'm Richard Noble. I'm Chief Executive of Bloodhound Program. I'm here, of course, with my friend Thomas Currian to announce the most incredible cloud partnership in, of course, the true Oracle tradition. So just to get this going and to explain this, let me take you back 20 years to 1997, when we had a rather special fast car, and as a team we achieved something absolutely unique. We achieved the first and only supersonic world land speed record. So have a look at this and turn the sound up, please. The new record was 763 miles an hour. The driver was Andy Green. The peak Mach number was 1.02, and the shock waves that you heard could be heard 40 miles away, and they knocked the covers off the school classroom sprinklers in the little town of Gerlach, 15 miles away. So this is proper motor racing, not this round and round stuff, you know. It was a very, very innovative program, it really was. And to achieve this, we had to innovate on a simply massive scale, not only with the 100,000 horsepower thrust SSE car, but with the whole project depending on the internet. We were the first to introduce web blogs on the internet. We were the first to initiate crowdfunding on the internet, where we had to pay for 1 million litres of fuel. And our website was the largest on the one day that we got the world land speed record. That's October the 15th, 1997. The internet saved us and made all this possible on a huge global scale. It wasn't just a British project. So back in Britain, and many, many years later, our Ministry of Defence, that's the equivalent of the Department of Defence, told me that they were facing very serious problems. The British government were not getting the education right. They'd lost the inspirational high ground to the BBC, the national broadcast company, and our school kids were all wanting to be singers and dancers. And the ministry explained that during the Cold War, the British kids were excited by the huge aerospace programs that were going on in Britain, and they all wanted to be scientists and engineers. And now today, the ministry had a very serious shortage because the kids were not coming forward as scientists and engineers, and they were having very serious problems hiring. So the minister said to me, he wants us to do another car and to share the popular inspiration with all the schools in Britain to provide a new generation. And I said, yes, this was going to need extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary innovation. The whole program we set up learned from the US Apollo program. Over the Apollo period, if you remember, 1961 to 72. And during that program, you increased the number of United States PhDs by 300%. In other words, the whole country was turned on by what was actually happening. And here are the deliverables in terms of physics, engineering, and mathematics PhDs. You'll notice that the numbers build up and up and up until 1972, which was Apollo 17, the last flight. And then they began to fall off. Why? Well, because the whole thing was based on television, and the audiences went in decline, of course, at the end of the moon program. In the early days of our car project, we had very substantial help from the late and very great Neil Armstrong, who believed in what we were trying to achieve. And last year we inspired 129,000 British school children. And that's not all. The project in its education is now being followed in 230 countries and territories around the world. So a quick word about the car. It's called Bloodhound SSC. It's named after a Cold War British SAM missile, which accelerated from 0 to 2.5 times the speed of sound in just 3 seconds. and we share the designer, Ron Ayres. The car has more horsepower than the latest British aircraft carrier, and there it is, and is capable of Mach 1.4. That's the car, not the aircraft carrier. And that's 1,000 miles an hour, as Thomas has explained. It goes from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour in 55 seconds, and it'll cover a measured mile in 3.6 seconds. And the wheels turn around at 10,200 RPM. It's a huge engineering undertaking. It's taken 10 years, incredibly hard work by the very small team to get all this together. And today's a great day because we start runway trials at Newquay in Cornwall. I want to make the point that while all this started off, of course, as a British project, it's very, very much an international collaboration. For example, Lockheed Martin have designed the wheels. Parker have done the hydraulics. We've had huge help from Intel and also from Cisco. The next stage, of course, is to run the car to 800 miles an hour. We're going to do that in the Kalahari Desert in South Africa. And the local people have entered into the challenge big time because we've had 300 people working for 6 years to clear the desert. The Haksteenpan Desert there of 16,000 tons of stones. Every one of those persons has picked up 50 tons of stones by hand. So we now have an absolutely perfect track. Moving on to the education, the teachers told us how to do the education. They said, what we want for our classes is all the live performance data from the car, so that we can follow its development as it happens. And of course, we're getting the same data as our engineering team. We can second guess the design team. The learning power from all this is going to be absolutely extraordinary. This has never been done before, and we're exporting 550 data channels and 2 video channels, live and free access from the car on every run to those 230 countries. In South Africa, MTN Networks, which is a local Oracle client, put up our masts. So they gave us 4 of these 70-meter high radio masts. So now we can transmit the data from the car, bounce it across the Kalahari Desert, and putting it into the web in the town called Uppington. But of course, how do we transport, distribute, and store that data? How do we get it to 230 countries? Well, it's a great story. I was cutting the grass at home in Oxford one Sunday and came in for a cup of tea. The phone rang and it was Thomas Currier calling from Redwood, and he rang to commit to the program. And this was just a fantastic, absolutely brilliant moment for us. There are just a very few moments of brilliance in what has been an incredibly tough 10-year project, which has pushed the team to the absolute limits of personal endurance. And Thomas's call, of course, goes down in the book. So this is what is going to happen. Have a look at this.
Bloodhound SSC, engine start. Engine winds up, and out response, and out response. The most sophisticated land speed record car in history. Bloodhound supersonic car, with the engine now winding up, ready to go. Hydraulics are starting to come up. Power generators online. Power systems are online. The EJ200 is the most advanced military jet engine in the world. And as it winds up, and the hydraulics and the electrics come online, final checks to make sure the car is ready to go. Temperatures are nominal, coolant's good, check your engine's ready to go. Fuel flow is good. Mission control, Bloodhound SSC, ready to Measured mile. Stand off for brakes. Stand off for parachute. Wheel brakes on. Slack down stationary. Engines off. Hydraulics off. System safe. Mission control. Bloodhound SSC. Safe, safe, safe.
So well done, Andy Green, our driver. Very soon you're going to have to do this for real. On Sunday night, we signed off a very, very important partnership with Oracle Academy, which brings in Alison Greenfoot and takes Bloodhound education to another 3,000 kids in the UK and 3.5 million school kids worldwide. This is a huge, huge partnership. What do we learn from all this? Well, it's very, very simple, this education thing, because basically, if you provide the inspiration, that leads to the kids' aspiration. Once they've got the aspiration, then of course they take their education seriously. And this is what we found. It works really well, big time. So this is all about participation on a huge global scale. So please take the time, go to the Bloodhound website and put your name on the fin. We've got the first 35,000 names on the fin already. Send me a mail, tell us what you think of all this, because this is going to be a world first on an enormous scale for Oracle, of course, and its associates. Now, to discuss the technical end of all this, I'm delighted to present my friend, John Abel, Vice President Technical Cloud, UK, Ireland, and Israel. So let's hear it for John Abel, the guy who put all this thing together. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Richard.
Thank you, John.
Have you noticed with Richard, everything is so loud in his world? So I'm going to talk about what we've been up to. When we signed this agreement, actually, it was a fantastic point, because one of the things we're going through in the world at the moment is this big world of disruption. I love Albert Einstein, I love some of his quotes, because they refresh every time. What Albert Einstein said was, logic will get you from A to Z. Imagination will take you everywhere. What Oracle are doing is creating imagination for students at speed. The project that Oracle's been doing has been done by basically just students, actually our interns and our graduates, with some help from some of our experienced developers. Our design goals were really simple. We said, everything we develop, students must be able to obtain from a shop. Everything that we achieve with this technology must be freely available to students, and there's no barrier of access to data. The team we had on it are very passionate about this project, because STEM is something we have to invest in. It's critical in the future that the human race has to find new planets to live on, we'll have to find new cures for medicine, and we have to inspire them. So to help you on that, we're going to show you some of the technology that we've been developing in just 7 weeks. Everything that we've done is ready for Nuki and is absolutely going to be available for students globally. The first thing we did here is we went to a local shop, we bought basically 360-degree cameras. We then actually put them in the car. Andy Green insisted that these cameras gave the students exactly the same view that he has. This camera is actually going to give virtual reality. So the students will near enough real time be able to see exactly what Andy Green is seeing. This is really important, because everybody in the diverse world that we live in today actually wants to experience different data in different ways. So this was one of our immediate challenges. Then we upped it a notch. We actually have plugged in that engine, that Eurofighter engine, directly into the Oracle Cloud. Within 3 days, Asaf Lev, who's in here somewhere, connected that directly to our public cloud. The other great thing is we announced our European data center. The very first piece of workload that went into the European data center came from this engine. This engine was selling data up. It's a massive amount of data. It's about 2,000 transactions per second. It's about 100 megabytes of data in 55 seconds. It's extreme speed. The technology we use is stuff that basically any child could obtain from any corner shop, electronics store. Again, making it freely available so they can inspire themselves. We then went on and started looking at how we can merge this data. So Caroline Axie, one of the actual key people on the project, came up with this idea about actually having automated scanning of all the names on the tail fin. So those thousands of people that put donations onto the car can actually go online and actually search for their name. And we actually graphically pick out where it is to be selected from. All of this, remember, was achieved in 7 weeks. So did we stop? We just carried on. Our interns got a little bit excited, started using all the data visualization that Thomas showed. Everything here, by the way, runs inside Docker and runs in Kubernetes, runs in our Oracle Cloud infrastructure. We do need a lot of that engineering that Thomas was talking about because a lot of this technology has to scale. A lot of our workloads are actually classical HPC, high performance compute. Here, you can actually see in the very top corner the actual live data off that jet engine that will make 1,000 miles an hour. That's currently recording straight into our cloud. You can see in there we're using artificial intelligence and machine learning, specifically to find areas of the car where the engineers need to be informed, because we've loaded up the carbon fluid dynamic model from their own research. Because remember, very few people have ever gone this fast. Then we went on to how students would engage. And as you can see here, this is a chatbot. If you think about students, they use Facebook Messenger and other technology. So we've actually provided them the direct interface to actually ask the team questions, and it's using chatbot technology. Then the final bit. We went on to augmented reality. So here is the car, it's been digitized, we put it in there, sensors on the car are showing, students can walk up to the car, can touch the car, can feel the car. Every single one was done in 7 weeks. All of it using our platform and infrastructure services in the Oracle Public Cloud. My very last slide. Here's the team that achieved this. You will see there's interns, there's graduates, there's experienced developers. The most important thing about this team is the passion they've shown and the commitment they've shown for making the next generation get inspired and create and resolve problems that we must have resolved. For me, it's one of the most fantastic projects that Oracle's ever involved in. We are going to change that generation. So I'm just going to change some of the words that Albert Einstein gave. AI, machine learning, and automation will take you from A to Z. The human gift is absolutely creativity, and that will take you everywhere. Oracle's just got that much faster. Have a great open world. Speak to you soon. Thank you very much.